The biggest mistake you could make right now is shutting off your marketing spend and waiting until the spring. I know it's Q4, I know it's October, and I know that your leads have probably slowed down just a little bit. But the last thing you want to do is fall into the trap of shutting off your marketing spend and just waiting till spring. For a lot of roofing companies this time of year, this is typically a little bit slower season. Things start cooling off and your mind immediately starts running to, okay, winter's almost here. What are we going to do? Let's pull back and we'll restart everything in the spring. If you want 2026 to be the best year you've ever had, now is the time to evaluate everything you did in 2025. Figure out what worked best, where your best ROI came from, and where the bulk of your revenue came from, and turn up that dial. And I already know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I don't know. We didn't track that. We might be able to tell you what we think was the best lead source, but we didn't track revenue per channel. We don't know exactly how much revenue our SEO versus our PPC versus our local SEO and Google Maps produced. And I know you're thinking that because 80% or more of all contractors I talk to are in that same boat. They have no idea what actually generated revenue for their business. So because of that, they don't know what to turn up and what to turn down. The real problem is most home service and roofing companies have no idea what their true marketing value is. Your marketing company might give you a report every month telling you how many leads you got or phone calls or where you're ranking for an X number of keywords, but they're not telling you what's actually driving revenue because they have no idea. They can't tell. They're not integrated into your CRM. So for example, you might spend, say, $10K in PPC ads and $3 or $4K on SEO, and you know that you add those numbers up together and figure out how much you spent for the year. And you can tell me what your revenue overall is, but you don't know, was it referral-based business that was the best? Was it PPC? Was it your social media? Was it local SEO? Was it traditional SEO? You have no clue. Was it even AI answer engines? There's no way to tell because you're not tracking those things. Those metrics tend to look good because they try to tell you you're ranking for this or that, or you have so many phone calls this month, but they mean nothing if they're not adding any real value to your business. So we're going to fix that in today's video. So the first thing we need to do is understand how data-driven marketing actually works. You need to track every touch point. You need to be tracking every call, form fill, email, Google lead, any touch point that a customer has to getting inside your business. You need to be tracking where it came from and what its actual pipeline value is. Did that job close and did it generate revenue? One, you're going to track every touch point. Step two, you're going to connect that to your CRM. Whether you're using AccuLynx, JobNimbus, ProLine, ServiceTitan, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that it talks to your marketing channels. So you either need to find a way to track that, or you need to find a marketing partner that can help you track that and help you integrate that in so it talks seamlessly. And a lot of marketing companies that I've talked to that I know are doing some sort of attribution like this, what they're not able to do is what we call a push-pull integration. So they might be pushing information into your CRM, but they're not able to pull that information back out. If they're not pulling that information back out, they are definitely not retargeting based on that information and using that information to make your marketing better. Then after we have all of that integrated, so we're tracking everything, right? Then we're integrated into the CRM. We're going to create a feedback loop. It's going to tell us where all of your best jobs came from by demographic, by lead source, by marketing channel, you name it. We're going to be able to see all of that. And then you can optimize on what is most profitable, not just on what kept you busy. So we'll be able to take a look at where did the best jobs come from. If you're looking for re-roofs or installs or whatever that might be, and you're tired of messing with piddly repairs, we can maybe take a look at your demographics and see all of your best and most profitable jobs that made you the most money came from this area. Let's double down and make sure we're focusing more on that area. This is going to make sure that you have the most profitable business possible, not just busy work or fluff. So you're probably asking, why does all this matter? And maybe you're not. Maybe you already see the value. But this matters because, one, you can stop arguing with marketing companies. You're going to be able to have real data to say, look, we know what's going on with our marketing because we're tracking everything and this is not working. Or you're going to be able to take a look at what your marketing company is doing and say, hey, this is working. We're going to turn it up. But there's accountability there on a level that you've never had before. You can make data-driven decisions with confidence and not by guessing. You're going to be able to know exactly what decisions to make. If you can see this data down to the demographic and know what's actually working, you don't have to guess in the off season where you're going to spend some money. You're going to know exactly where that budget needs to go. And if you can do all that, you're going to be able to scale exactly what works and cut all the fluff. Next, we're going to talk about some of the most common mistakes that I see marketing companies make and how you can avoid them. Relying too much on cost per lead as a metric. If cost per lead is the number one metric you're tracking and you're not tracking what actually closes, what is actually generating revenue, and what an actual qualified lead is and how much it costs you to acquire a customer, then you really don't know a whole lot. All you know is a vanity number that says, hey, we got a bunch of leads, but we don't know if they're qualified, we don't know if they're real, and we don't know at all which ones turned into revenue. Counting every phone call as a lead. Now, I know you know this, but your marketing company doesn't always want to do this. They want to track everything that came in as a call as a lead, and you want to make sure that you know exactly what's working and what's not. And we can't do that if we're tracking every single call as a lead. It might be another marketing company trying to get your business. It might be a past customer who's calling in for warranty work. It might be Jim Bob down the road looking for a job. We want to make sure that we are tracking only qualified leads, because when you track only qualified leads, then you know what a true lead costs you, not just a phone call. And then you can start tracking how much it costs you to actually acquire a customer and how many leads will be needed to acquire that customer. And lastly, stop letting marketing agencies get away with sending you vanity reports that mean nothing, that have no proof behind them. Ask for revenue data. If you can't get it, find someone who can. If this is what you start managing all of your marketing by, you will avoid so many mistakes and spend a whole lot less money on marketing in the long run. So what is data-driven marketing, and what are the 4 pillars that we use to install for our clients to make sure that you guys can make the best decisions possible? Track everything. No invisible leads. Make sure that you know exactly what's going in there. Make sure your team is using their CRM. Make sure that CRM is talking to your marketing, and make sure that everything is being tracked so there are no invisible leads and nothing slips through the cracks. Integrate into your CRM. Make sure you have one single source of truth for everything and hold everyone accountable to that. Hold your marketing company accountable to it. Hold your sales guys accountable to it. Hold yourself accountable to it. Measure revenue, not clicks, not leads, revenue. Now, leads is a small part, but again, we talked about qualified leads. Make sure that you hold everyone accountable to actual ROI and not just vanity metrics. Pillar 4, optimize everything. Once you can make data-driven decisions and you know what's working, you can see it, you have the proof, then you can make sure that everything gets optimized and that everything gets tweaked as needed to make sure that your marketing spend is the most efficient it possibly can be. So I know we started this video talking about Q4 and why now is the right time, and we've spent the whole video talking about data-driven marketing. But I want to show you why Q4 is the perfect time to make sure this happens, because here's the thing. If you've been doing this all 2025, you are now ready to make these types of decisions in 2026. In Q4, while things are slow, is the perfect time to start optimizing and making sure that you really dial in what was working and dial that up, and then really take a look at what didn't and scale that way back. But I know a lot of you are thinking, I didn't have that this year. How in the world can I do this for 2026? Well, the reality is you can't. All you can do is guess. But what you can do is use all of this information, go find a marketing partner that can help you integrate all of this, or build it yourself through Go High Level or something like that. But find a marketing partner that can do this and truly have an accountability and a level of transparency that you've never seen before. And make sure that you hold them accountable to it, and make sure that you're not in the same spot in 2026, right? Make Q4 of 24 the last time you have to deal with not being able to have this type of visibility into your marketing. So if you've been doing all this and you have all this data, you can take Q4 and actually implement, right? You can dial in what worked. You can take a look back at this year, Figure out what are your most profitable channels. What brought in the most money for your company? What didn't? And then we need to evaluate and implement, right? So that's going to look like doubling down on what worked, whether that's just keep it running or run a whole lot more. Secondly, you're going to scale back what didn't work, or at least find a new partner to put in place for that channel so that you know that we can have a better ROI moving forward. Q4 is the time to spend efficiently and make sure that you are putting yourself out there in all the right places so that A, no one forgets who you are, and B, you end up getting some low-hanging fruit through the winter or fill your pipeline for the spring. So companies that do this, that have all the data, that can make data-driven decisions and implement in the off season are the ones that start the spring absolutely crushing it. And you can be one of those. The companies that dominate in the spring are preparing now. So if you're serious about making 2026 the best year that you've ever had in business, it starts now. It starts in Q4. It doesn't start in March of 26. It doesn't start in January of 26. It starts right now in October of 2025. The decisions you make today will drastically impact your top line revenue in 2026. Most of you, if you've made it this far, you probably don't know how to implement this on your own. There are some things out there, like I mentioned, Go High Level, that can track some of this on a very minor level. But that's what I do at WebFX. I take my prior roofing industry knowledge from owning my own business and my passion for marketing, and I help businesses just like you on a daily basis put together actual plans that put together data-driven marketing inside their businesses to help companies just like yours grow and scale using data with full transparency into everything so that you're never flying blind and don't have a clue what's going on in your marketing or where that spend is going. So if that's something you would want help with, I've got a link in my description down below. You can schedule a meeting directly from there and book a quick discovery meeting with me. We'll just talk about your goals, what you've got going on in the business, and if we're even a good fit. And if we're not, I'll let you know that. But if we are, then I'll put together a strategy to help you guys crush those goals in 2026 with real data-driven marketing that is revenue-backed and revenue-based. So that's it for this video. If anything I said resonated with you today, please just like and subscribe, or take a look at one of the videos on the screen here. Go watch one of these other videos and see what you can implement into your business right now that will directly impact 2026 and beyond. Thanks. I'll see you on the next one.